Okay, inshallah, can everyone hear me? By the way, for those of you on Twitter, this is what took me so long. I just got a notice saying that the people on Twitter can now message me. Do I have any students here on Twitter that can try it out for me? Because I got all my computers on Instagram and stuff. Is anybody watching me from Twitter that can type something? Because they're saying that now I should be able to see the messages on Twitter, on X. X is Twitter, by the way. Okay. I don't know how they type on there. It's too little for me to see on, but they say that if you guys are on Twitter, I should be able to see you can type to me, and inshallah. What's this? Is this type? No, that's a bookmark. It's too little for me to see on my phone, and I got my tip. Anyway, for those of you who are watching and listening on Twitter, inshallah, I should be able to see your typing as well. And just to let everybody know, we're streaming on every major platform now. We're streaming simultaneously on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, also Instagram. I have a lot of people popping in on Instagram. We're also streaming live on Instagram. We're also streaming on Twitch, on Trovo, D Live, LinkedIn. By the way, we have a LinkedIn page as well. For those of you who utilize LinkedIn, we do have if you go to my profile, I have a Sunnahfollowers LinkedIn page too. And we are streaming there as well. Yeah, we're streaming there. Oh, wow. Yeah, I can see Twitter. Hold on, let me check this out. Wow. Okay, I do see. I figured out how to do it on Twitter. Yeah, you can say something. It says type here. Let me log in on my computer. Oh, I just logged in. Did I? Okay. Okay, hold on. I can always see better on my computer. I'm a computer person, not a phone person. Oh, wow. Yes, I see this. I just logged in. Did I? Okay. Okay, mashallah. Mashallah. I can always see. Okay. Okay, let me try it again for the Twitter. Where did Twitter go? Oh, this is it. Yeah, Twitter's called X now. You log in on X. Oh, there I am. And I can type right here. Let me type. Assalamu alaikum. Can you guys see this typing I'm doing? It says send. I just sent it. Assalamu alaikum. There it is. It's got a nice, yeah. Let me show you guys how it looks here on X, which is Twitter. Let me show it to you. Let me screen share. Look at this, guys. This is X, which is Twitter, which is now called X. So if you go to watch me live there, look at this. I think this is nice. They got a chat box. This is the chat box. See, you can. It's just like YouTube. You got a chat box, and then you got me live here. You can make this. Nice. They got a chat box. Look, you can make the screen big. Is the chat box. Make it small. See, you can. And you got a nice little Sunnahfollowers online chat box. So this is X, which is Twitter, but you got to go to the X to do this. Y'all see that? Do I have anybody in my Zoom room that can see, that can tell me if I'm just wasting my time or not? Okay, but this is it on X, which is Twitter. You got to go to the X though, guys. See, not the regular Twitter, but to the X, whatever that is. What is all this crap? Okay, let me come up out of here. Now, how do I close it? Uh-oh. Wait a minute. I don't know what it's doing. Hold on, let me come out. Did I come out? Yeah, wait a minute. Where's X at here? Yeah, okay, I'm still streaming there. So yeah, so now you can watch us on the, oh wow, and yes, I see you. Do you guys see my typing in sight on YouTube? Is there anyone on YouTube or Facebook? Did you guys see me type in lailanasheeba with the X there? I can see it, but can you guys see that? See, I don't have Ifty here to help me. And I don't have anybody in my Zoom room. Okay, well, anyway, I can see it.
I didn't see it.
Okay, well, it shows up for me in the stream. I can see a picture of myself with the X for Twitter and it says, Assalamu alaikum, chat box. Okay.
Yes, it went through.
Oh, you can see it, Brother Tarek?
Yes.
Where are you at, on Facebook or YouTube?
That was YouTube.
Oh, mashallah. Okay, so good, guys. Y'all see that? So now we can see they're upgrading. We paid all this money for this streaming program, and they're constantly trying to fix stuff. Okay, so alhamdulillah, mashallah, this is good. So you can watch us on Twitter, the X, and you can type your questions or comments or answers, and I can see what you type. We're also on Instagram. I got the Instagram page opened up on the other computer. I can see what you type. People on Facebook, YouTube, Trovo, DLive, and Twitch, I could always see you. But that was the problem we was getting. A lot of the people, especially with Mukhtar's class, some of the people weren't able to type their questions, but now you can, because this software program that we're using, they fixed that and upgraded it. Okay, so let's get started on today's class, inshallah. And I think Tarek is here. Let me make sure Tarek is a moderator in that Zoom room. Let me give him moderator rights in case somebody comes in acting crazy, because I guess Fam May usually fills in when Ifty's not here, but she might be away with the baby or something. Okay, hold on. Okay, somebody's texting me. Okay, hold on. This person saying they can see me. What program is this? Oh, I forgot about that. Mixcloud too. Okay, I'm letting her know. Okay, I can see you on Mixcloud too. I'm sorry. Okay, I forgot we on Mixcloud. All right, so let's get started. Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to the first class for today, which is our Aqidah class. And before I begin the class, I do want to answer this question from one of the new shahadas. One of the new Muslim converts was asking me, one of the sisters here, Sister Deborah. Deborah wants to know, is there a certain way that a Muslim woman should wear her hijab? The answer is yes, despite what you see. Allah commands the believing woman to draw her veils over her bosom. You guys see how I got mine? Covering your chest, your women, lady parts. Your lady parts. Okay. Yeah, okay. She can hear too. Good. Okay, your lady parts. Now DLive is messing me. Yeah, I can see you guys anyway on DLive. Y'all don't have to message. I could always see you. Yeah, so if you're when you wear a hijab, which is a covering, it should be like this, a khimar, like what I wear. It has to be long enough to cover your chest. Do you sisters understand that? And it's haram. I repeat, it's haram. I repeat, it's haram for Muslim women to wear turbans. Do you sisters understand that? Why? Because a turban is a dress for men. And Islam forbids women from dressing like men and men from dressing like women. Just like a man cannot wear a hijab or a khimar. A woman cannot wear turbans. And you see a lot of these Muslim women with turbans on, especially here in America. You even got these so-called progressive Muslim women politicians. And they walk around dressed like the Kafir women with tight pants and suit jackets on, imitating a man, and they put a turban on. By the way, as a Muslim woman, you shouldn't be wearing no three-piece suit either. That's also dress specific for a man. And this is what our whole this whole series that I'm teaching is about. Well better. This is what happens when we live amongst the non-Muslims. If we do not practice the proper well better, we end up taking on their ways. Like the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, you Muslims will imitate them in the way they dress, the way they act, their mannerisms. And this is exactly what we're doing. You got Muslim women looking like men, wearing three-piece suits and turbans and stuff because they want to be in the political arena. And that's a whole different topic, because should you be in a political arena? That's the question. Is that even lawful? And we'll talk about that another day. Okay, a woman, women today, because of our assimilation with the non-Muslim women, we've adapted their way of thinking, their way of dressing, and their lifestyle. Muslim women have left the homes. We've checked out of the homes. And we're now working. Some of us have no choice but to work. I know, because I had to work for 36 years. Alhamdulillah, I just retired. I just retired 2 years ago. MashaAllah. That was the blessing. That was one of the simple blessings in life. I didn't have to work anymore to take care of myself. Okay, I was able to still retire and be still just 1 foot in the grave instead of 2 feet. So some of us have no choice but to work. But there are other Muslim women out there who don't have to work, but you choose to do it because you want to be a progressive Muslim, or you want to be like the non-Muslim women. You want to be independent, self-sufficient, which ain't nothing wrong with that. You can be independent and self-sufficient and still married and still at home. Okay? So to answer that question, no, you are not supposed to wear your hijab anyway, other than with it hanging down over your bosom. That's a clear verse in the Quran. Draw your veils over your bosom when you leave your home. You can't wear clothing that's going to accentuate your breasts. And most of us have big breasts. That's just how it is. Hello? A lot of us are holding naturally. And Allah knows his creation. So what do? Cover it up. So the people can't sit there, you talking to a dude and he's staring at your chest. You walk to the grocery store and somebody looking at your behind, like we see, like those people did when you sisters were protesting and still are, showing your body parts, bending over in Times Square, praying on the street, when your home is better for you. Yeah, so that answers that question. And that's why we're doing this whole series on allegiance. If we truly have allegiance to Islam, then we would never compromise our values. We would never compromise our morals, just to blend in and be accepted by the non-believers. We have no choice but to live amongst them here in America. But you can live amongst the non-believers and still have a productive life, as long as you adhere to the morals and the values of our way of life. And our morality and our values are better than theirs because ours were divinely given to us. What does that mean? Our morals, And our values were given to us by Allah, not man-made, by a Zionist. And America is a Zionist country. It always has been. What do you people think Judeo-Christian means? It means Zionist. Anybody, the people, y'all didn't know that? That's why y'all shouldn't have been voting for Obama or anybody else. They're non-Muslims, their ideology. Look at America's history. See, I'm a historian. I have a degree in it. Why do you think those early Americans were breaking off, fighting against England for their independence? You want to celebrate Independence Day? Let me give y'all the real story of Independence Day with Paul Revere and all the early settlers. They wanted to break away from England. Why? Because England was a Christian country. Christianity was at its peak. The American settlers didn't want to live under the laws of religion. They didn't want to live under the guidelines of a religion. They wanted to make their own laws, their own rules. That's the beginning of Zionism here in America. So when America established its independence from England, that began its Judeo-Christian society, its Zionist society, where we make our own laws. We form our own constitution. We form our own way of life, not based on any religion, not based on any book, but we make our laws ourselves. And that's what that American Constitution represents. It's Zionism. We make our own laws. We're not going to be governed by a monarchy. We're not going to be governed by religion. We're going to live a democratic life. That's Zionism, where we vote for what we want. Majority rules. Indivisible. That's the American Constitution. Y'all didn't know that? You learn that stuff when you go to college. You learn it in high school. I'm going to tell y'all something. I learned that in civics when I was in the 6th grade. That was what that whole independence was about. We don't want religion to govern us no more. We don't want a monarchy. We want to make our own laws. That's Zionism. Don't get it twisted. Another reason why we don't celebrate Independence Day. Where's your allegiance? Is your allegiance to the settlers, to the pilgrims? Is your allegiance to Zionism? Is your allegiance to democracy? Islam ain't about no democracy. Okay? Democracy leads to chaos. Because it's your rules, your thoughts, majority rule. Subhanallah, people. We don't believe in no republic either. That's why y'all shouldn't have been voting for Obama or anyone else. But no, y'all didn't listen to me. You didn't listen to people like Layla, because there were a few of us here, a handful. Remember, the prophet said there'll always be a handful of Muslims trying to call you back to the Sunnah. Well, there was a handful here. Me, Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atlee, Kareem Abu Zaid. We were of that handful that was trying, literally, that was telling y'all not to vote. Didn't listen to Sheikh Atlee. No. Didn't listen to Kareem Abu Zaid. No. Didn't listen to that crazy loud woman Layla. And you guys, Obama was the one that sent the weapons there. This was already in the plan. Y'all gonna answer to that. Answer for it. That's why Allah sent this war. To teach y'all a lesson about deviating away from his laws, his rules, We have to be ruled by Allah's rules, his laws. You can't adopt your own. Everybody understand that? So Muslim women have taken on the appearance of non-Muslim women, wearing suits and turbans. Some of the women don't even put a turban on at all. They just wear blue jeans and show their body parts. It's the Nicki Minaj show and the Cardi B show. Ho, ho, ho. That's what it is. Association brings about assimilation. And that's what we've been speaking about. As Muslims, it's our duty to enjoin the good and forbid the evil, no matter where we are. But sometimes we find ourselves in predicaments in which we cannot enjoin and forbid in the sequence that we should do it in. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us, if you see an evil, if you can stop it physically, you do that first. You don't just move to the next level. But oftentimes we can't do anything physically because of the country we live in, the laws that the men, that the Zionists have made that contradict Allah's laws. So if we find ourselves in a situation like that, whereas we could do something physically, but we can't, because again, Islam does teach us that we don't go around break, just like the Prophet said, our laws are for us. I can't force a non-Muslim woman to wear a hijab because she's not a Muslim. Our laws are not for them. Okay? On the other hand, you know, they can't force their laws upon me. But I respect their laws and don't violate them. Y'all understand that? You live in a non-Muslim environment, a non-Muslim society. They may have laws or guidelines that totally oppose ours. But that doesn't mean that we get physical and we become violent and try to take matters in our own hands. We cannot enforce Islamic laws in a non-Islamic country. The Prophet said that. We don't do that. So instead, we move to the next level, which is speak out against it if it's something bad. So since I can't force you to not fornicate, to not adulterate, you know, I can't force you to put a hijab on if you are Muslim. You know, what I can do is speak out against it. I can speak out against the fact, like I'm doing now, that Muslim women have deviated away from practicing Islam the correct way. Muslim women have assimilated amongst the non-Muslim women. This is the next phase. Speak out against the evil. But sometimes you will find yourself in a predicament where you cannot even speak out. For example, in some of the Muslim countries, in fact, all of them, they don't have that freedom of speech that we have here in America. I'm going to be honest, no country on earth has that freedom of speech that America allows, not even the European countries. America will allow you to say what you want to say, but don't think they ain't watching you. They got that Patriot Act that was passed during 9/11. Yeah, the Patriot Act allows Americans to look right in your house. They could be looking right now with cameras and watching everything we do, monitoring our phones. Yeah, so, you know, freedom comes with a cost. Okay? But you may find yourself where you are, if you're living in a Muslim country, like where my father's from, Egypt. My father was from Egypt originally. They don't have that freedom of speech. You speak out against the government, speak out against things that, you'll end up in jail. So what do you do if you find yourself in a predicament like that? Let me tell y'all a big fitting that's going on in Egypt. Egypt is one of the places where they allow women to call the adhan. Egypt is one of the places where they allow women to lead the men in the prayers. Oh yeah, women got all kind of rights over there in Egypt. Okay? But if you speak out against it, you're going to be thrown into prisons. So you can't change the evil physically. You cannot even speak out against the evil. So what do you do then? Then you move to the last sequence, which is hate it in your heart. And this is what a lot of Muslims don't understand. What does it mean to hate something in your heart? That's what we're going to be talking about today. And to hate it in your heart means you're going to pray against the evil. That's where your supplications come in. And boy, there's a lot of power in supplication if we only knew that. All right. So let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen. That served as a great introduction. And for the sister that asked, you see how I'm wearing my kimars? I never stand up on screen. But after this class, I'll stand up so you can see how far down it goes. It covers all of that. If you're going to be on the screen like me, on the video, all they should see is head and shoulders. That's it. Baby, 1, 2, 3. Remember that old child's play. Head and shoulders, baby. 1, 2, 3. It ain't no shoulder hips. And it ain't no hips knees. If you're going to be like this in the presence of men and you're on a screen like I am, you want to be dressed like I am in a kimar, and you don't stand up. They should see nothing below this. All they can see is my face and my hands, which is lawful in Islam, and whatever kimar I have on, and that's it. Whatever jewelry I have on my face and hands or makeup, that's it. That's all that they're allowed to see. Head and shoulders. It ain't shoulder hips. So cover them this stuff up, even on camera. All right. Okay, so let's put the PowerPoint up for today's lecture. And by the way, I did post up the pages on Facebook and YouTube. What page was this? Anybody in Zoom got the page again? So I don't get interrupted with Sister Layla, wrong page. I think y'all was at 290 to 292 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to be covering, I want everybody to take the books out. This is the blue book, volume 1. It ain't the red peel. We're still digesting the blue peel, which is volume 1 of Diluting El Wala Wal Barra. And we're on page 290. These last 8 chapters of volume 1 serve as an introduction to book 2. And as y'all can see, those of you who have ordered the book, it's over 500 pages. Oh yeah, it's going to take us another year. We've been studying this book for almost a year. Y'all can see when we start that other book, it's going to take us another year. Hello, but inshallah, you guys will walk away with a great, deep understanding of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and its meaning. So today we're going to speak about the limitations that we may find ourselves faced with when it comes to enjoining the good and forbidding the evil in a non-Muslim society or a non-Muslim environment. Okay? And again, the practicality of enjoining good and forbidding evil with the hand. That's the first step. This is a fundamental principle. And we as Muslims are strongly advised to uphold this practice. But we have to understand that this practice of enjoining good and forbidding evil with your hand should be carried out with hikmah, wisdom, and compassion, and also within the confines of the law. Because most of you listening to me do not live in a Muslim society. You're either in America, or you're in Canada, or you're in Europe. I even have some Australians here. So these are not Islamic countries. In fact, these are all Judeo-Christian countries. Judeo-Christian countries. Some are more Judeo than others. Those countries that support what's going on in Israel are more Judeo. The ones that don't support it are more Christian. Okay? And by the way, let me share this information that you guys already know. The United Nations is meeting again today, but they've already voted over 100 and something countries voted for a ceasefire. Only 8 countries voted to carry on. And America is the first one, of course. And also, I think, Australia. Okay, so that can tell you that those 8 countries that did not vote for the ceasefire, America is the leading the crew. Those are your countries that are more Judeo. Those are your Zionist countries. And they happen to be the superpowers of the world. Even though those other 120-something countries voted for a ceasefire, those 8 Zionist countries that are more Judeo, which makes them Zionists, are the superpowers. That's how it is. Why is it that way? Because Allah said so. Allah said when the Antichrist comes, he'll be leading those Zionists. He'll have over 300 and some Zionists behind him. Okay. So you find yourself in a situation where you have to use wisdom and also stay within the guidelines of the law of wherever you live. Like I gave you guys the example, you can't do anything physically to stop, fornication, adultery, drugs, or any of that. So that's when you move on to the next level. You have to restrain yourself, use your judgment so as not to cause harm to you and yours. And there's other things we can do by moving to the next level, such as speaking out. When we speak out, we can offer advice. We can offer guidance. We can offer support to someone, for example, who's struggling with addiction. We can offer support to someone who has a sex problem. We can encourage kindness and respect in our communities, since we can't stop it physically. So does everybody understand that? Yes, the first step is to try to change it physically or stop it physically. But oftentimes, if you're in a non-Muslim country, you're not able to do that. Even in a Muslim country, you can't, because there is no country in the world that follows the laws of Sharia anyway. Okay? So let's talk about the tongue. Again, the greatest examples we have in how to handle ourselves in good times and bad is from the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and his companions. this beautiful hadith about forbidding evil with the tongue. I want y'all to ponder this. One day, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting amongst the people in Tabuk, and he said, "Where's Ka'b ibn Malik? Why isn't he here?" And someone from the tribe of Salama spoke up and said, "O Prophet of Allah, he got caught up with the beauty of his clothing and his appreciation of everything around him, and that's why he's not here." In other words, he was saying, oh, he's busy, caught up in the life of this world. And when this person said that, Mu'adh ibn Jabal spoke up. He said, "Woe unto you for what you said." He says, "O Prophet of Allah, we don't know nothing about Ka'b except good." So here we can see that this companion spoke up when this other person tried to demean Ka'b's character. This other person tried to plant the seed in the heart and mind of others, that Ka'b, was too much into the life of this world and the pleasures here instead of doing what Allah wanted. But you can see how Mu'adh spoke up and defended him. And this goes hand in hand with what we talked about yesterday in my class on the lawful and the unlawful. We talked about backbiting and gossip and how horrific these crimes are. And we talked about what to do if you find yourself in a situation where someone is speaking badly about another Muslim. You can't jump up and slap him in his face. Although sometimes we do that. That happened to me not too long ago. I wasn't thinking, it was reflex. Somebody said something bad about a person I knew, and I end up bashing him in his face. I'm sorry. And soon after I did it, I walked away. I didn't apologize to the person because the person deserved it. But once I left the person's presence, I did say, "Oh, Allah, forgive me. I think I broke the person's nose. I don't know." Instinct. I've always had a heavy hand. What can I say? Heavy-handed. Okay? But we're not supposed to do that. Bash another Muslim in his face like that, even though what the person said and did was wrong. But what we should have done is defended that person's honor, like Mu'adh did. You tell them, "Look, this is not what we're supposed to be doing. How can you say something bad and derogatory about your Muslim brother like that?" And if the person continues, Islam teaches us to walk away, to get up and leave. And that's what I should have done. I should have defended that other Muslim's honor and then got up and walked away. But I'm sorry, it just, I have anxiety. I was having a bad day, and I got up, and I don't know, next thing I knew, my hand just slipped. Person was down holding their nose, bleeding. I took up out of there. Layla booked up real quick. No po-po on me, but I was sorry to Allah about it because it was wrong. Okay, so, Islam, like I said, we're going to find ourselves in situations, where we can't get physical, or we are not supposed to get physical. So we're supposed to move to the next level because it's our job. Remember, as Muslims, anyone who declares La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, their life, their honor, and their property is off limits. And like I was saying earlier, there's the Muslim countries. In the Muslim countries, all of them, they don't have this freedom of speech. speak badly about the government, you going to jail. You speak badly about the people of authority, you're going to be executed. So in those type of cases where you can't even speak out, then you're supposed to hate it in your heart. And we have an example of that from the story of Prophet Lot, alayhi salam. But let's talk about hating something in your heart. Hating something in your heart means to have a strong emotional dislike towards that action, or a strong emotional dislike towards that behavior. This should be a powerful motivator in taking action to prevent that behavior from happening in the future. When you really hate something, you will do everything in your power to stay away from it and prevent it from happening again. If a believer fails to hate it in their heart, then what happens? We become vulnerable to the influence of these things. And this is why you look here in America, Muslim women don't dress properly. You don't have to cover your face. Nowhere does Allah or the Prophet or any of the original companions, except Ibn Masud, say that a woman has to cover her face and her hands. I don't have to walk around like with no gloves on and with my like a mummy. I ain't got to do that. But I am supposed to cover my female body parts. No skin should be showing except this. And my shape, my women, lady parts should not be emphasized. I should have on a wide flowing garment, a wide flowing overgarment that will hide my form to the best of its ability, except what naturally appears thereof. Okay? But Muslim women don't dress that way. You can't tell Muslim women from non-Muslim women anymore. You know, this is what happens when cause we didn't hate it in our heart. If you truly hated how women have deviated away from the commands of Allah, then you would take every step necessary to prevent it from happening. But you're not. You're succumbing to it. And many of you have taken Muslim women as your heroes who don't dress properly. Subhanallah. So hating it in your heart, you know, is something that we have to work on in Muslim countries and non-Muslim countries, where we are not able to do anything verbally or physically. Let's take a look at the story of Prophet Lot, alayhi salam. Despite Lot's admonishments against the indecency and the immorality that his people did, they were the ones into that homosexuality. They were also into bestiality. Prophet Lot, alayhi salam, spoke out against it. He couldn't stop them physically. So he tried to stop them with his tongue, but they continued to engage in those actions. Even Prophet Lot's wife, because she didn't hate it in her heart, what happened to her? She ended up assimilating and becoming like them. So the story of Prophet Lot, alayhi salam, should remind us of the consequences of failing to hate it in your heart. If you don't hate something in your heart, you're going to succumb to it. That's why love and hate are parts of faith. Y'all remember when we did that whole discussion on loving and hating for the sake of Allah? Now do you see why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said you will never be a true believer? You will never be, you will never be a true believer until you love and hate for the sake of Allah. If you don't love and hate for the sake of Allah, what's going to happen? You're going to succumb to the evil around you. You're going to assimilate like Prophet Lot's wife did. Everybody understand that? As Muslims, remember, Allah tells us in the Quran, just because we say that we believe in him is not enough. He says we have to prove it. He's going to test us with everything that we love, our money, our children, our wives, our property, even our lives. So we have to live each day resisting the temptations that come our way. Does everybody understand that? Because each and every one of us has a jinn assigned to us. That jinn is not a Muslim, he's a devil. And Allah put him there to serve the purpose of trying to seduce you to disobey him. So it's important for us to maintain a strong faith-centered environment. It's important for us as Muslims to be vigilant against the influence of whatever external factors around us that can weaken us. This is why, for those young brothers that come to me and they say, Sister Layla, this is too much. I say, what's too much? I'll give an example. Remember about several months ago for this my Islam Q&A show, a young brother who lived in Miami, Florida. He was around 16. He came to my Islam Q&A show and he asked me, he said, Sister Layla, it's too much. I said, what's too much? He said, all the women where I live, they walk around in their underwear on skateboards. I said, skateboards? I said, where you live at? I ain't never been to Florida. He said, I'm in Miami. I said, oh, I heard about that. I used to see that show with Snooki. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Snooki and them down there in Miami, you know, with the clubs, and those women walk around naked. And he said, these are beautiful women, Sister Layla. They got long hair, big behinds. He said, I can't handle it. If I stay in my house, you know, that ain't helping because they everywhere. I got to leave eventually to go to school. And in school, the girls, what do? I told them that's when migration becomes obligatory for you. If you find yourself in an environment and the environment is too much for you, it's compromising your faith, your deen, that's when you have to move. Like I told him, you don't have to move to a Muslim populated country because guess what? The same stuff is there too. But you can move to another part of the earth, another part of America, like where I live up north where we got snow. We got the 4 seasons. You can't walk around looking like that here. Your behind gonna freeze, baby. Okay? Move to a part of the country where the women ain't walking around naked. Move to Washington, Seattle, Washington, or places like that. Okay? We have to remember that when we die, when those 3 angels come to take your soul, after they pull the soul, your soul from your throat, the first thing they're going to ask you is, did Allah not send messengers to you to warn you? And then their second question is going to be, was not Allah's earth spacious enough? Why didn't you move to another part of the earth where the women didn't walk around on skateboards in their underwear? Y'all see that? We cannot allow our environment to compromise our faith and practice. The companions didn't do that. And we're supposed to be like them. And you know, resisting temptation, this is something that we all struggle with as human beings, because it's what our father and our mother struggle with, Adam and Eve. Remember in the story of Adam, alayhi salam, the tree, Allah tells us how he told Adam and his wife to enjoy everything there in paradise, but stay away from that tree. But Shaitan lured them away from obedience to Allah and tempted them to eat from that tree, which caused them to be removed from paradise. So none of us are perfect. We all make mistakes. Sometimes you may find yourself succumbing to the environment, but you need to catch yourself. And when you catch yourself, pull yourself back away from it and repent to Allah if need be. Does everybody understand? So living in a non-Muslim society or non-Muslim environment is not easy, but it can be done. Remember, the companions did it. The first migration was from Mecca to Ethiopia, which was just like America, but a Christian country. They were able to maintain their faith, and their faith was newly formed. They did it. We can do it too. You just have to want it. Okay, let's see how well you guys understood this class. I'm going to ask you some questions here. I got about 3 questions. Pay attention. Question number 1. When enjoining the good and forbidding the evil, it does not have to be in the sequence of changing it with your hands and then the voice and then the heart. Is that statement true or false? In other words, when we enjoin the good and forbid the evil, we don't have to follow the sequence. We can do whatever we want. Is that true or false?
False.
Do you guys agree with her? She said false.
Yeah, I agree.
MashaAllah, good job. It's false. We do have to follow the sequence. Even if, but we may not be able to, but we're still supposed to follow the sequence. What about this? You see a child from your window running in the street, and you notice a car is coming. Even if you left your home, you would never make it to the child in time, but you still have to leave your home to try. Is that statement true or false? Think about it. Ponder it. You see a child from your window running in the street, and you can see a car is coming. If you left your home, you would never make it in time to the child. But you still have to get up and leave that house and physically try to make it. Is that true or false? Come on, people. What do you think? Let me look on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. Do you have to still leave the house? Even though you're not going to make it, you can't do anything but physical? Is that true or false? What do you guys think?
True.
Okay, wait a minute.
True.
Okay, you guys agree? This person said true. Do y'all agree?
No, false. I say false.
Okay, why do you say it's false? Whoever said it's false, why do y'all say it's false? common sense. Come on, people. These are not hard questions.
Because you can scream out loud. You can't reach to the person, so why would you try to get up and run? You might not do it in time, but if you scream out to the person, and they'll be able to get out of the street.
Exactly. Good job, guys. Why would I do that? You know, I'm looking at the situation. I can't reach the person. If I left my house, I had to put a hijab on, throw on some shoes. That car is going to hit that baby. But I can open up my window and yell, get out the street. Or I can yell, help her. Does everybody understand? Whoever said it was true, do you understand why your answer was wrong? Okay, so that's when we move to the next level. Try to change it with your hand physically if you can. But if you can't, then you go to the next level. I can't run out to the street in time, but I can scream, get out of the street. Does everybody get it? Common sense. Okay, let's look at the next question. You hate what's going on in Gaza, but you can't do anything physically to stop it. What other alternatives are there? Now, this is more for what we're going through today. If you guys are truly understanding my teachings, you should be able to answer this question. We all hate what's going on in Gaza. We can't do anything physically to stop it. So what other alternatives are there, if any? Let's hear it.
You can simply make dua.
And which level is that? Is that the strongest level or the weakest?
That's the weakest level.
Okay, yeah, but that answers, we could make dua, which is the weakest level. But yes, that's right. We could pray for them. What else can we do? What are the alternatives? And are there things we can do that are stronger than making dua? Dua is the weakest level. We can hate it in our heart. And we can pray against it. But are there stronger things we can do? Things that may be more seen, more obvious. When we say stronger, we mean things that are more obvious. Are there more obvious things we can do to try to stop what's going on in Gaza? Come on, guys. These are questions
you can you can speak out about it, and you can fill the masjid, because the Prophet ﷺ said to speak out against. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said to go to the masjid and pray. So we have to show our solidarity. We join together, so we can always speak out, and we can always show that our solidarity.
You got two things. Wait a minute. Praying.
Each other.
Okay, so praying with each other, guys. What is that? A stronger level? Okay, let's start over. I want everybody to participate in this Zoom room. And I want everybody to stop making these questions hard for yourself. These are common sense, logical answers. Okay? Stop overthinking. What's going on in Gaza? None of us can do anything physically. So before we get to the lowest level, what's the next thing we can do? Since we can't change it with our hand by fighting against it or whatnot, what can we do on the next highest level? Now give me your answer, since I ask it that way.
Speak out against it.
How do you speak out against it?
You speak out against it is basically putting it on your social media. Anytime you talk to someone, just speak out against it. If you have a big fat platform, when you have your audience, you're speaking out against it.
Okay. Anybody else? What other forms of speaking out against? You can speak out against it verbally, and also by using your social media. You know, how do you guys jump to the last without going to the second? Remember, we don't jump to the last. Okay, let me use myself as an example. There's nothing that I can do physically to stop what's going on in Gaza. That's the first level. So let me move to the second. I'm not just going to settle for the last. We got to follow the sequence. I speak out against it every day. All my classes that I teach, I make sure that they all center around Islamic knowledge that can be of use to you as a Muslim. And also it could be of use to them by spreading awareness about their situation verbally for them. That's one way. What's another way? She said we can post stuff up on social media. What type of stuff? What can you post on social media? What type of stuff would any of you post on social media? Can anybody answer that? This is simple. Oh God, we Muslims are just lost. How, Sister Laylee? How can you use social media? This is where y'all lost at. Y'all can throw out words, but explain how. How can you use social media to promote the peace and justice? I just told y'all how I use my dawah. How can you use social media to promote peace and justice about what's happening in Gaza? Can anyone answer that? This is so easy. If I was to ask my grandkid, he probably could come up with some good stuff, but there ain't none of them here. Sister Pamela said we can write about in letters. We can write letters to the government. That's a good one. That's what the non-Muslims. See, the non-Muslims know how to do stuff. We Muslims, like the Prophet said, we ain't educated. I'm sorry. We're emotional. All we can do is scream, holler, cry, cuss. That's it. If it involves thinking up an idea, we ain't good at it. You could do like the non-Muslims did, the Actors Guild. Look at all those famous movie stars led by Angelina Jolie. They all got together, the Actors Guild, and wrote letters to Biden. Who is kill, crush, destroy, get angry. I'm still waiting on somebody to tell me what they're going to put on social media. Dead bodies? What you going to put on social media? Well, we can do like the non-Muslims are doing on social media. What are the rabbis doing? What are the practicing Jews doing? They're posting on social media the history of Israel, the history of Zionism. They're educating the people as to what the difference between Judaism is and Zionism. They're letting the people know that Zionists are not Jews. They're not practicing Jews, that they don't believe in the scriptures. So you can use social media in a good way like that to educate the people as to what Zionism is, as opposed to Judaism. You can also use the social media to speak about how Muslims are people too. That our way of life is not a way of life that is based on violence. You can use social media to promote that even in our way of life, we have rules, we have guidelines to abide by. Our Quran teaches us that we don't kill children. Mina, why come y'all can't give answers like I'm giving? I got to answer my own questions. Y'all don't like to think.
I was gonna say the reason why I said social media is to like show a lecture that a brother or a sister is giving. That's what I would have did, but I personally don't know. So that's why I
That's
kept shut.
something
But
you
that's
could
why.
do too, but you got to be careful of what brother and sister, because some of these crazy Muslims don't know what they talking about. But yeah, but that's something you can do too. But I'd rather do like what I'm saying. Be proactive. That's how the non-Muslims got us beat. They know how to act. They know how to make a difference. Remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said there's 6 reasons why those Christians will always have the upper hand over us. And this is one of the reasons. They are proactive. They know what to do to stir up attention. We Muslims, we don't. We just either don't know because we're just not intelligent enough, or we're just too emotional. If it's too hard for us to think. That's why we're where we are today. So there are things we can do on the second level of speaking out against it. We can write letters. We can educate. And then the third level, you guys already answered. And it always make dua. That's the least that we can do. The least we can do is make dua, but you don't want to jump to the least. And that's what so many of us do today. We jump to the least effective way. We jump to the least effective way because the other ways are just too complicated for us. That's why those Christians got that advantage over us. All right, let's see. I think I got another question up here. Let me see. That might have been the last one. Oh, here it is. I think this is the last question. A sister in the mosque is speaking badly about another Muslim woman who is not present. What should you do? And this, you got to give me the complete answer based on what we talked about yesterday about gossip and backbiting too. What do we do, guys? A sister is in the mosque speaking badly about another Muslim woman. What should you do? What does Islam teach us to do in regards to enjoining good and forbidding evil in this instance? Okay, and also, guys, for that other question, another brother here is saying we can also educate the people by going to other churches or other organizations, advocating the rights of these people, speaking out for the rights of Muslims. Exactly. Okay, so now let's look at this last question. A sister is at the mosque or a brother's at the mosque speaking badly about another Muslim. If you understand enjoining good and forbidding evil, what should we do? Simple answer. Simple question with a very, very, very easy answer.
You should stop that person and you should defend the person that they're speaking bad of. And if they continue on, you leave the company. You don't sit there and engage and, carry on the gossip and stuff.
What do you guys think about her answer?
Yeah, I agree.
MashaAllah, good job. Good job. MashaAllah, she's correct. That's what you do. If you're in the presence of another Muslim who's attacking another Muslim verbally behind their back, you stop them and you advise them, and then you defend that person's honor. And if they continue on, then you get up and leave, because Allah teaches us as Muslims to not sit in the company or the presence of those who do evil. Does everybody understand that? All right, mashallah. Any questions or comments? You guys did okay on this quiz. I think a lot of y'all get in your mind You know, you try to make it harder. These questions are, Islam is common sense. Remember, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said anyone who has common sense can understand this religion. That's why those companions like Ali and Abu Hurairah and them, they were kids. They were like 7, 8, 9 years old converting to Islam, because Islam appeals to the heart. Okay, it's not hard. But a lot of you, I think, get inside your head and you make the religion harder than it. You know these answers. Y'all just think, oh, it can't be that easy. Yes, it is. It's that easy. All right. Any questions or comments? Okay, I want to remind everybody that tonight we're doing the stories of the female companions, the heroines of Islam. Tonight's story at 9 p.m. will be the story of Kulthum. Kulthum, who it was the last daughter that I'm going to speak about of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And a lot of you can see how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us that the stronger your iman, the greater your test. None of us on this planet, as you can see, were tested more than those original companions. Look at the story of Ruqayya. What a miserable story. Ruqayya, her story was very sad. Also Zainab, radiallahu anha, the first oldest daughter of the Prophet. Look at her sad story. And today I'm going to give you the sad story of Kulthum. They didn't have that many good times. This world is not meant to be a paradise for the true believer. If you are a true believer, you can probably count on 2 hands the amount of times you've been happy. I know I can. I can't even feel 2 hands, but I can almost maybe 8. I can think of 8 moments in which I've experienced what they call happiness. And it's always short-lived. It's only for a second. The blink of an eye, your situation changes. The blink of an eye. These companions, their lives changed. They didn't have that long to dwell. We have life so much better for us, but we're further away from Allah than they were. So make sure you guys are here for the story of Kulthum. Her story will be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as usual, everything I'm doing is based on the Quran and the authentic hadith. Okay? So make sure everybody's here for that at 9 o'clock. And also, guys, before I close out for right now, please support this dawah effort. Y'all see that QR code there? Please scan it with your phone and donate. Remember, we are a nonprofit organization. You know, all donations go to cover the website expenses here. And also, I put a thing out, you know, this is the end of the month. You have until, if you work at your job, you know how the jobs allow us to put down charity organizations to support. Our website, Sunnahfollowers, is a charitable organization. I did post up on YouTube's community tab and Facebook, and I also emailed some of you out. You know, our EIN number, how you can have your job deduct, you know, from us, because we are a 501(c)(3) tax exempt nonprofit organization. Please, guys, consider doing that. And if you are considering it, give me a call for the rest of the information that you need to put in there. All right. So any questions or comments? Okay, somebody here also gave a good answer. We can also post flyers. Good job. about what's going on. When we see and or hear people speak badly about what's going on, we can give them the correct information. Good job. We can defend and save any reputation. We can speak out in a polite but firm manner to defend and save any reputation and prevent any spreading of the evil we hear. We can make sure it is safe to do so. Exactly. Yeah, there's so many things we can do besides going to the last level. The last level, do those things before you get there too. Always make dua. You know, but we can do other things too. Speak. Even with the children's class yesterday, y'all see the cat? For the kids' class yesterday, even the cat spoke up about what's going on in Gaza. What did the cat say? A lot of his family, he got some Angora family members. A lot of the cats got their tails blowed off. Even the cat spoke out. So that's an example. We can educate each other. My thing is education, you know, through the dawah. You know, we can educate, you know, the world about what's going on. All right. Okay, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating. Be back here at 9 p.m. No. Okay, let's talk about this boycott thing again. The way my cousin Mukhtar answered that question yesterday was wonderful. There is nothing in Islam. I repeat, there is nothing in Islam. I repeat again, there is nothing in Islam that says boycotting is haram. So since Allah doesn't mention it, that means you can do it. But what I say is we have to use intelligence, because a lot of you Muslims are boycotting companies like Starbucks that do not, I repeat, that do not, I repeat again, that do not support Israel. Because again, Muslims are emotional. They're emotional instead of intelligent. Starbucks does not support Israel. Starbucks is an American-owned company from out of Seattle, Washington, and it's a franchise. It's a franchise. It's a franchise. That means whoever buys it owns it. There's a lot of Muslims that own Starbucks. I'm getting ready to buy one. By the way, give me a year, inshallah, and I want y'all to check out my Starbucks shop that I'm getting ready to open up down the street. Hello? You gonna call me a kafir? Okay. And the CEO of Starbucks put out a news release 2 months ago saying he does not know where these uneducated people get their information from. He said, number one, we are a franchise. Number two, he said, we don't support nothing to do with Israel. So that's what I said. I've never told you guys that boycotting was haram. I told y'all the Muslims are stupid. That's what I said. Nike shoes. Nike doesn't support Israel either. Queen Latifah, who represents CoverGirl, she said, we don't support Israel either. In fact, Queen Latifah was one of the rap singers that signed that thing requesting Biden to cease fire. So that's what I told you guys. I told you guys that many of you Muslims are stupid and boycotting ain't doing nothing. You're not doing nothing for the Palestinians. That's what I said, and I stand by that statement. You're only hurting yourself and making yourself look stupid. That's what I said, and I still say it. You have to get educated first. Find out what Zionism is. Then find out what a franchise is. Go take some business classes. That's what I've always said. Y'all need to go to school. Take some business classes. But if you really are boycotting a real Zionist country, it's just like Mukhtar said, you is speaking out. But you Muslims are not boycotting Zionists. You're boycotting Muslims because there's a lot of Muslims, for example, that own Starbucks. That's what I said, and I stand by it. Till death do I part. Get an education. We have to get educated. Yeah. Yeah, that's stupid. There's other things you can do anyway. That's stupidity. Write letters. Write letters like the Jewish people have done, like the movie stars have done, like the rap singers have done. That's what makes a difference. Speak out publicly and intelligently. That's what makes a difference. What's that singer? Selena Gomez. She was on TV 2 days ago, speaking out against it. Miley Cyrus, speaking out against it. Taylor Swift, speaking out against it. At the MGM, what's them awards they had? Nicki Minaj spoke out against it. Y'all need to learn the good stuff from the Kafirs. They ain't boycotting. They're speaking out. That's what you Muslims need to do. Because all you doing is looking stupid with this so-called boycotting. And by the way, let me talk about Starbucks for a minute because I'm a unionist. They lost some sales. They didn't lose sales because of y'all boycotting. You want to know why Starbucks sales have went down? Their sales have went down because Starbucks does not want a union. The employees are protesting. And the employees are speaking out against Starbucks because Starbucks does not want to give them a union. Starbucks does not want to give them health care and benefits for school. So that's why Starbucks sales went down. It ain't got nothing to do with a boycott because it's not a company like that. It's a franchise. Their sales have gone down because of the employees protesting for union rights. And I know the effectiveness of that because I've been a union organizer for 36 years. Hello. So get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Y'all got to get an education. Learn about stuff. Okay? Any other questions or comments about that? Yeah, Queen, y'all ticked off Queen Latifah. Did y'all see Queen Latifah on TV 3 months ago? Y'all ticked her off. She said, what my cover girl got to do with Israel? She said, I'm a black woman. She said, I'm a black woman from the hood. She said, what do I look like support anything with them people? She said, I make cover girl. I got a line of cover girl makeup. She said, I ain't got nothing to do with no Israel. Queen Latifah was ticked off. And by the way, she made the statement, can't y'all check my name? She said, I'm a black woman. I'm an African-American. She said, every African-American in America got at least 3 or 4 Muslims in their family. She said, my name is Latifah. Shouldn't that tell y'all something? That's what she said. Oh, that was so funny. That's what I'm saying. Muslims got to get educated and stop being emotional. All right. Yeah, the brother here said, yeah, he saw her. She was really upset. Yeah, she was upset messing with her cover girl line. All right, guys. Inshallah, I'm going to close out for now, but I'll be back. I'll be back at 9 o'clock with the story of Khartoum, inshallah. So, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu